Hey, it is 12 noon on Friday, which means it's time for this week's episode of State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time, we come to you to help you mastermind and grow your real estate business. And I'm super excited about this week's episode. We're talking about something a lot of people, especially new agents, have a hard time grappling with. And it's not being a secret agent. So you don't want to be a secret agent. Even though it might sound kind of cool to be a secret agent, you might even have a little bit of a theme song. How's it go? Da na 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 dun 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 da 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 da. No, you don't want to be a secret agent. No matter how cool it may sound, it's not cool when you're a real estate secret agent. You're a secret real estate agent. You don't want that, because what it means when you're a secret real estate agent is no one knows who you are. When no one knows who you are, they're not going to know you practice real estate. When no one knows that you practice real estate, you're not going to be able to offer any services to anybody. And if you're not able to offer any services to anybody, you're not able to earn any money. You're not able to earn any commission money if you don't have clients. And in order to get clients, you have to get yourself out there. You can't be a secret agent. Now, there's ways around this stuff here. I mean, the team concept is something that grows continuously, and that's because not everybody is a front man. Not everybody is somebody that could be out there up front, out there preaching the good word of real estate to their friends, their family, and soon-to-be friends or soon-to-be clients. So this is where maybe you could kind of team up with somebody who's better at that. And typically, the people that aren't so extroverted and outgoing, now, there's other ways you can do this as well. We're going to talk about it through spending money. But without spending money, find somebody who's that extroverted, outgoing type of person that you could team up with and really leverage their personality, because those people usually don't have much follow-through, and the people that have a lot of follow-through usually aren't good. So you got to partner those pieces together, marry those pieces together between the two. Don't call them your partner, though, because that's a big legal no-no. You'll get yourself in all kinds of trouble calling somebody your partner. Don't want to do that. That's basically the equivalent of marrying them in the business world. So you don't want to use the term partner. But basically, there's 3 steps that I have this broken down to. 3 steps to make sure that you won't be a secret agent. And you might say, John, is it really just 3 steps? And when I break this down, how simple it is, I mean, you can see how we're going to be talking about this and elaborating on it further. But the 3 steps you need to remember: number 1, get yourself known. Number 1, get known. That's number 1. If you're not known, and not just known in general, you could be a rock star, but if you're a rock star who has a real estate license, but everybody just knows you as the rock star, that's great. They'll know you as a rock star, but they also need to know you as a real estate professional. So you need to get yourself known in the real estate space, but not not amongst other realtors. We're going to be talking about the audience and making sure you're talking to the right people, but so many agents, I'll talk to them and I'll be like, okay, what kind of like networking do you do? It's like, oh, I go to networking events every week. I'm meeting all kinds of realtors every single week. I'm like, all right, well, that's great that you're meeting other realtors, but what are you meeting client-wise? Because another realtor isn't going to use you as the realtor. They're already a realtor. They already got that taken care of. They're not going to be buying anything from you. Unless you're a broker, maybe trying to recruit some agents to your firm. That's really the only reason I could see you out there doing the networking with other realtors. So let's cut that out right now. So unless you're a broker out there trying to recruit more agents, you don't belong at these realtor networking events. If it's a training event, then yes. But if it's just getting together to eat food and drink beer, whatever that type of networking event may be, that's not going to be where you're going to find clients. To me, that'd be a waste of my time. Unless I'm trying to recruit agents, that's a waste of my time. So you need to get yourself around, and there's all kinds of networking opportunities that are outside the real estate sphere. This really kind of ties in with step 3, which I'm going to tell you about in just a second. But before that, let's talk about step 2. So step 1 is get known. You have to get yourself known, number 1. Step 2, you have to stay known. So number 1, they need to know who you are. But chances are, when they learn who you are, when you teach them who you are and they learn who you are, they might not need your real estate services at that time. But that doesn't mean they're not going to need your real estate services in the future. They're not going to need them down the road, maybe in 5 to 7 years. Remember that National Association of Realtors statistics I like to flaunt all the time? You want to know these stats, guys. It's 5 to 7 years. Every 5 to 7 years, somebody's going to move. And that doesn't mean 5 to 7 years from today. It means 5 to 7 years from when they last moved. So you might be right up on that. And that's just the average. That's just the statistics. So some people are going to be less than that, and some people will be more than that. But eventually, everyone moves. And even if they die in that property, even if they die in that house, then the likelihood of it ended up selling probably multiplies at that point, because this is going to be inherited by somebody. And then that person probably wants to sell it. They might have some sentimental attachment, or maybe they have sentimental attachment, so they don't want to live into it themselves. They just want to get rid of it to forget about those memories. So everyone's going to sell eventually. So number 1, you have to get known. Number 2, stay known. Number 3, and this only comes, you have to do one before the other. There's no way for you to stay known if you don't get known in the first place. So number 1, you have to get known. Number 2, you have to stay known. And then number 3, you need to expand your audience. So get known, stay known, and then expand your audience. Those are the 3 steps to making sure that you're not going to be a secret agent. Number 1, get known. Number 2, stay known. Number 3, expand your audience. We're going to be talking about some practical ways for you to implement this in your business, so stay with us. Don't go anywhere. I'm John Kursmo. You're watching State of Real Estate. When you look back on your real estate career, you'll remember the moment you decided to begin this journey. The moment when you finally decided it was time for change. The moment when you decided it was time to take charge. The moment that changed the direction of your life forever. Now is that moment. Need help preparing for your exam? We've got you covered. Join us for a structured weekend review class where we'll cover the topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams. Class sizes are limited, so reserve your seat now by calling 813-928-0106 or registering online at tampaschoolofrealestate.com. Have you been thinking about starting a real estate career but are struggling to find the time to go back to school? Allow us to introduce our revolutionary online course platform. At the Tampa School of Real Estate, we have used our years of education experience and student feedback to bring you the finest and best online course. Visit tampaschoolofrealestate.com. That's tampaschoolofrealestate.com, or call us at 813-928-0106. That's 813-928-0106 to learn more and register for our online course today. After the show, be sure to visit tampaschoolofrealestate.com. Again, that's tampaschoolofrealestate.com, where you'll find all the information you need to start your career in real estate. Also, be sure to check out our Success Center, where you'll find helpful tips for building a successful real estate career. Hey, if you liked the show today, be sure to hit like and subscribe and post your comments. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time, we come to you live to help you mastermind and grow your real estate business. Today, we're talking about not being a secret agent. It might sound like it's cool. There's movies about people that are secret agents, but you're not going to see movies about a real estate secret agent, because that's not cool. That's not fun. Because these real estate secret agents usually don't make much money. It's not always true. Maybe they have some way, some system worked out, but you're probably not going to make money as a secret agent in real estate. If you want to be a secret agent, go call up the CIA, the NSA, the FBI, one of those acronyms that hire secret agents. But in the real estate space, obscurity is your enemy. Remember, we have these 3 steps that I talked about before we went on break. Number 1, get known. Number 2, stay known. Number 3, expand your audience. So those 3 steps, this is the mantra as far as anything really marketing related, not even in the real estate space. Well, any type of business you can apply this to. Number 1, you need to get known. Number 2, you need to stay known. You can't let people forget about you. And then number 3, once you've got those, and these go in this consequential order, where you start with number 1, first getting people to know you, teaching them who it is that you are. I'm an instructor. I deal with people trying to learn stuff every single day, and they forget it. It's the same thing you're doing when you're marketing to somebody. When you're marketing to people, you're teaching them something. You're teaching them who you are, what you stand for, what you do, what are your values, what you could do for them. You're teaching them this stuff when you're marketing. And there's that saying, you don't use it, you lose it. And that's absolutely true with anything that you learn. Think of all the skills you maybe forgot that you don't necessarily use anymore. How much of the Spanish that maybe you had to learn in high school or college or whatever that may be that you still can speak. You probably can't unless you've been speaking it every single day. And the same thing happens when you're teaching somebody who you are. You teach them your name, you teach them what you look like, you teach them what you can do for them, what you stand for. That's all great if you get that done, and that's step 1. But then step 2 is reinforcing that learning, reinforcing that, because if you skip out on step 2, step 1's all for nothing. Because step 1 alone, that'll just get you in the moment type of sales. So maybe eventually you'll do enough of step 1 where you're going to find somebody right then and there that needs your services. But a majority of the time, it's a waiting game, and you're waiting for that 5 to 7 year period, whatever it's going to take for them to eventually want to move out of their property. And it's a waiting game. So during that time period, and like I said, this is a very long-term strategy here, you need to focus on staying known. You invested all that time, money, and energy into getting known in the first place, and then you need to make sure you stay known. And now this goes especially, I'm talking to everyone that's a brand new agent out there. When you first get your real estate license, celebrate that. Post it online. Tell all your friends and family. Start talking about real estate all the time so they know you're the real estate guy or girl. And you need to, and so many agents just miss this in the first place. You have to tap into your sphere of influence. Your sphere of influence, the people that you're directly related to, that you're friends with. You need them to know that you're the guy or the girl to go to if they even have just a real estate question. Even if they just saw something on HGTV and they're like, oh, is that really how this works? You should be the first person that pops in their mind. And you might be saying, John, isn't that a waste of time? I don't want to talk to them about HGTV. I want to sell their house. Hey, well, this is the long-term strategy with this here. You want them to think, if that's happening, where they're thinking about you whenever they think about real estate, that's good. That's perfect. That's where you need to be, because that's what you want people to vision in your mind of you as this real estate professional. So that way in their course of their normal day, they know who you are, and they could refer you out to people if they start talking about real estate. They might say, oh, my nephew or my cousin or my uncle or whoever it is that you are in this relation, or my friend, or even my friend of a friend, or however it is that it is, but they need to be thinking about you first and foremost whenever real estate comes up. That's what your goal is, to get the top of mind for them, to be the number 1 thing they think of when they think of real estate. If you're able to do that, you've accomplished step 1 of getting known. But now what happens is if you start to rest on your laurels, if you start to kind of like say, all right, cool, yeah, everybody knows I'm in real estate, my work here is done. Now I just wait for the commission checks to roll in. You sit back, you rest on your laurels like that, you're not going to get business. They're going to forget that you're the real estate guru, that you're the real estate specialist, that you have your real estate license even. And now I'm speaking to the more experienced agents that are watching this. How many times have you had a client, or even just a friend, or somebody that knew you were a realtor, that you had your real estate license, that you're a broker, whatever it is that you are? They knew that. And then only come to find out, you start seeing pictures online, because that's how you get information these days, on the Facebook news feed, on Instagram, or Twitter, or however it is that you're getting this information. What you see on there, oh, I love our new house. And you're sitting there like, you son of a... And you're seeing this, you're like, wow. And then maybe you can interact with them. Hey, I see you guys bought a new house. I thought you guys were going to call me. Oh, that's right. That's right, I completely forgot. They could just be saying that. Because number one, if they're just saying that that they forgot, you didn't teach them right in the first place. You didn't get known as the real estate professional in the first place. So you violated number one. You might have think you just violated number two because they don't remember. But if they're lying and saying, hey, look, I completely forgot, but it's really not that. They just didn't want to work with you. You violated step one of getting known as the real estate professional. Or if you're not in real estate and you're just watching this for whatever business knowledge, that you're not the specialist in that particular space. And I know a lot of real estate agencies have their side hustles, their side businesses that they do. And those side businesses, you got to be the expert in that space as well. I know somebody in my office, and they stick out in my head all the time. I actually just got an email from them the other day. Not only is he a real estate agent, he's also has his own pool service company. And I think of him as the real estate pool service guy. He's in my head right now. Maybe it was just because I saw the email and I actually happened to open that email the other day about his pool service. Clicked through on his website, saw a little bit about him. But he's in my mind right now as the pool and real estate guy. So you got to claim your space. That's really what I'm talking about right here, is claiming your space. That's what you're doing when you're getting known. You're saying, hey, real estate is my space. This is my space to be an expert, to be a professional in. I need to make sure everyone knows that. So if you have that in the first place, they may still forget about you, and that's where step two comes in. But you have to, number one, make sure you're claiming that spot as the professional in their mind. People only have room for one professional in their mind. They're not going to they might not even think of one person. Because how many people can say, oh yeah, I have a plumber, I have a handyman, I have an electrician, I got all these people, these are my people. I'm sure you have some of those people, but you don't have a second in line type of person, unless maybe you do some rehabs and you work, and this is what your business is based on. But if you're just a consumer and you're thinking about your plumber, you only have a plumber. You maybe don't have a whole list of plumbers. And that's what the people think about when they think of real estate. They're like, okay, real estate, this is my guy, this is my girl, and that's it. And you don't think any further about it. So you have to claim that spot in people's minds as the real estate professional in their life. And then once you've successfully done that, that's where you move on to step two, and you reinforce that. You don't let them have any doubts. You don't let anybody else creep in there and steal your spot. Because if you rest on your laurels, if you neglect your client, and you say, hey, look, I'm not going to continue to market to you. You already know I'm the real estate specialist. You call me when you need to sell something. You just sit around and wait for that phone call. If the phone call's maybe going to come in within a couple of days, they'll probably still remember you. But once you get out, you get a week out, you get 2 weeks out, you get a couple months out, and maybe they finally do need the real estate agent services, they're going to be like, oh, what was that guy's name? What was that girl's name? Who was it that I was working with that wanted to help me out? Oh, well, actually, I saw this ad on there. And that person just came in there, that person that had their ad, or they got the marketing piece in the mail, they just stole your spot in your client's mind. So you got to claim that spot, but then you got to defend that territory. So number one, you claim that position and get known. You get known in their mind and you claim that space. And then number two, you defend that territory. You stay known in their mind. You're defending that, saying, hey, look, this is my client. And that's what you're doing. You're dancing around in their mind. You're like, you're my client. You're my client. Nobody else is getting in here. And if you stay in their mind enough, that's not really what's happening. You're not really dancing in their minds. But you got to stay in their mind. Continue to market to them. Continue to send them your email newsletters. Continue to follow up on them. Continue to call them. Continue to text them. Continue to send them letters. Continue to market to them over and over again, whatever it is that you do, and not just one thing that you do for marketing, but all the things that you do for marketing. You need to do that consistently. Market to them consistently again and again and again and again until they buy or sell with you. And then when they buy or sell with you, you go right back to marketing again and 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 again until they're ready to buy or sell with you again. And yes, we're talking very long-term cycles here, but what's happening, what's filling in the gaps with all this here is you're able to get referral business when you stay known with these people. Again, you want to be top of mind. When you claim that spot as the real estate master in their mind, when you claim that space that you're the real estate master, every time they think about real estate, they're talking about real estate with somebody, They're going to say, oh yeah, I got this guy John, and he knows everything about real estate. I think I'm going to call him. If you're thinking about selling your house, yeah, here. So he gave me a couple extra cards. Take one of them. He's a great guy, or whatever it is. But you see how you have the potential for this referral business when you've claimed that spot and you defend that territory in their mind. You teach them who you are, and then you continue to reinforce that over and over and over again. And now once you've done step 2, and once you've got a pattern, because you can't stop doing step 2. Step 2 is to go on indefinitely. Until you no longer want their business anymore, you have to continue to market to them over and over again. So until you're at the point saying, I never want to work with you again as a client, that's the only time you stop doing step 2, that you stop marketing to them. You have to continuously market to them until you either leave the real estate industry and you don't even care about doing referrals or anything like that, and you're just completely out of it. But even then, you probably still want to maintain contacts with them in whatever new industry it is that you're in. So really, in theory, it's a never-ending cycle of marketing to them. And now you're not being necessarily obsessive or annoying with this type of stuff here, but you're continuously marketing with them, but you're providing good information. And that does require work on your part. We're going to talk about some ways to kind of market and continue to show your value with this, because I've written down a bunch of different ways that I've tried to brainstorm, get these all down, and this is just the tip of the iceberg of different patterns and whatnot. But before we get into that, let's talk about the third step, and this comes after you've completed step 1 and step 2 successfully. You expand your audience. And this is going to happen naturally as you start to get referrals from these people that you're staying top of mind with. And so this automatically is going to happen, but you could also accelerate that pace by marketing continuously to people, by marketing over and over and over and over again to these people. So when we come back, we're going to be talking about some specific ways for you to kind of implement some strategies to effectively market. So stick with us. Don't go anywhere. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching State of Real Estate. When you look back on your real estate career, you'll remember the moment you decided to begin this journey. The moment when you finally decided it was time for change. The moment when you decided it was time to take charge. The moment that changed the direction of your life forever. Now is that moment. Need help preparing for your exam? We've got you covered. Join us for a structured weekend review class where we'll cover the topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams. Class sizes are limited, so reserve your seat now by calling 813-928-0106 or registering online at tampaschoolofrealestate.com. Have you been thinking about starting a real estate career, but are struggling to find the time to go back to school? Allow us to introduce our revolutionary online course platform. At the Tampa School of Real Estate, we have used our years of education experience and student feedback to bring you the finest and best online course. Visit tampaschoolofrealestate.com. That's tampaschoolofrealestate.com, or call us at 813-928-0106. That's 813-928-0106 to learn more and register for our online course today. After the show, be sure to visit tampaschoolofrealestate.com. Again, that's tampaschoolofrealestate.com, where you'll find all the information you need to start your career in real estate. Also, be sure to check out our Success Center, where you'll find helpful tips for building a successful real estate career. Hey, if you liked the show today, be sure to hit like and subscribe and post your comments. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, welcome to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. Really, welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. Every Friday, 12 noon Eastern Time, we come to you live to mastermind, to grow your real estate business, because if you're not growing, you're dying, and pretty sure most people don't want to die. So let's focus on the growth aspect. And what we're talking about today really has a significant potential to take your business from 0 to 1,000%, because these are just 3 core concepts that you're implementing again and again. It doesn't matter what size your business is, whether you're just starting off or you've been in real estate for 100 years, however that may be possible. Number one, you have to get known. Number two, you have to stay known. And number three, you expand your audience. Because like I said, if you're not growing, you're dying, and we don't want to do that. That's why you guys come here every Friday at 12 noon to make sure you continuously grow your real estate business. Scoop up these free little nuggets of knowledge that we're handing out. We're just passing out the knowledge here. Anyways, so expanding your audience. This is really the one that we haven't yet fully talked about here. And expanding your audience, like I said, this is going to happen naturally and automatically when you're following step one and step two, when you're executing on step one of getting known and step two of making sure that you claim that top spot and you defend that territory, that you're staying known in their mind. And when you're staying known, people will automatically start talking about you. And that does build up a business. That's why people that have been in real estate forever have a pretty good base of clients. As long as they're staying in touch with people and they're not neglecting them and allowing somebody else to jump in there and take over that control of them, then they're going to have a pretty good base. But if you want to accelerate that growth, if you want to accelerate the growth of your business and really kind of make it explode and not have to wait 5, 10, 15 years for this referral business to happen naturally, that's where you need to expand your audience. But you got to be doing number one and two. You got to get those two down, because otherwise you're just wasting your time. Because step number one, this is anytime you're marketing to somebody for the first time, or it really takes about 7 to 9 times to market to somebody to where they actually know you. I did an episode of this on farming. You should go back and watch that, because we talk about a lot of this stuff, but from a different aspect, from the more technical aspect of this here. But you need to have 7 to 9 impressions, 7 to 9 times somebody sees your information for them to fully understand and market it, because they're bombarded with marketing every single day. So step one is essential. Step two, staying known, that's also essential. And then step three, if you want to continue to grow and be able to make a living in real estate, that's where you need to focus on expanding your audience. Now, for some ways to expand your audience, because I did promise you guys we're going to get into some tactical ways you could kind of do this stuff here. I've got a bunch of categories we're going to talk about. The first one I want to talk about is friends and family, because this is really the tapping into your sphere of influence, really, when you're first getting in real estate. So many agents worry about where they're going to get leads from. You got leads all around you already. Unless you don't have any friends and you don't have any family, you're just a complete loner, maybe you transplanted to a new area, and at that point, you need to kind of get out there and maybe get some friends and family if you want to kind of use this strategy, and you definitely still could. But unless that's the case, where you know nobody in this world, because everybody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody that's going to need your services. It's your job to make that kind of connection out there and make sure, like I said, if you stay top of mind, that's where your name starts to come up automatically when real estate comes up to be a topic of discussion. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, social media. This is done so wrong in so many different ways. The number one way is not being consistent. And that's really with all this stuff here. All this requires such a high degree of consistency. You need to be consistent for every one of these aspects. Everything that we talk about today, you need to be consistent with. If you're not consistent, that's a problem. None of the stuff is going to be working without consistency. Like I said, step two is staying known. That's the one that has the most dependency on the consistency. If you don't have consistency, step two will never occur. You'll never be able to stay known unless you're consistent. But like going back to social media. So when you're posting stuff, and my recommendation, and there's 1,001 ways to market on social media. So this isn't the only one sure way, but I tell you it is a way that works, is you need to get yourself known. Just like I'm doing here. Just like I'm doing here, you're seeing this show broadcast live on Facebook, on YouTube, on our Success Center, and we do this every single week, and we're consistent with it. No matter what, I make sure we get one of these shows going out every single Friday to make sure we maintain that top of mind position. And you need to be doing the same thing. You need to be consistent in your posting, in your advertising, in your marketing that you're doing. But now the way you need to do this, especially with because Facebook and even Twitter now and Instagram, they're getting smart about this. Facebook's been smart about this, but they know you posting saying, hey, I'm a realtor, who needs to buy or sell their house? You're not really going to get much response out of that. But where you will get more response And you got to think of this from a perspective. People are going on social media not to be advertised and marketed to. They're going there for entertainment. So what you're interrupting is their entertainment. So if you want to be effective in interrupting their entertainment, you should be entertaining. And you don't necessarily have to be a comedian, although it could help. You don't have to be super dramatic, although that could help. You don't have to be even funny for that matter, but it will help. You don't even have to be outgoing necessarily, but it will help. Ultimately, what matters is that you're doing something to have a presence on there, but a presence as a real estate professional. Because like I said, that's the space we're trying to claim in their mind. We're trying to claim that space of a real estate professional. And if you're posting about the open house that you're doing, or the listing that you just got, or an experience that you had, those are the real things that people are interested in hearing about and seeing and watching videos about. And when you're consistent in that enough, you don't have to be blatantly saying, hey, I'm a real estate agent, I'm a real estate agent, I'm a real estate agent, and that's not going to be effective. Because number one, these social media networks aren't going to continue to show your post. You need to have that theme. That needs to be your theme in there. But think of any maybe well-written movie or well-made movie where they don't blatantly say what's going on. And you almost feel cheated when you're watching a movie and everything's super obvious and there's not really much depth to it. That's what you need to have when you're telling your story online. When you're trying to teach these people that you're a real estate professional, you need to have depth to what it is that you're doing. So not just saying that I'm a real estate agent, because like, okay, yeah, we get it, you're a real estate agent, but they're still going to forget and they're not going to pay attention to you when you market in the future to them using that same tactics. But if you're out there saying, hey, doing maybe a video, look at this open house that I'm in, just shooting a video of the open house, doing a live stream at your open house. Maybe you're at some real estate event. Maybe you're at one of these realtor networking events. I don't know. And you're out there saying, hey, look at all these realtors in here, making some joke about it. Like I said, funny will be something that takes you a long ways because that is entertaining and people like that. But you need to tell a story basically. And whether it's a new listing that you just got, don't just say, hey, I got a new listing. It's 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2-car garage, it's this price and it's in this neighborhood. That's just so generic. Maybe talk more about, oh my God, I saw the greatest sink. I saw the greatest water faucet in this property. Let me tell you about this water faucet. I'm pretty sure it was stolen from some sort of museum. Notice if I'm telling a story like this, it's funny, it's sarcastic, but it's entertaining is the key thing. And that's what you need to be doing on these social media platforms is entertaining people. But remember, you have to have that theme that you're a real estate professional. Because ultimately, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to snatch up that real estate professional space that they have in their mind. And when you're entertaining, that's why HGTV, and that's really hard to compete with them because that's usually going to claim the top space because it's entertaining. And that's why some of these shows get so ridiculous on not just HGTV, but any of these real estate shows that are out there. They'll get so ridiculous and so dramatic. And I know a lot of you guys out there like that doesn't happen in the real world, but it's entertaining. People like watching that. Maybe add a little bit of drama to your stuff. Make sure you're not violating any confidentiality or anything like that. Don't do too crazy with this stuff here. Be careful what you do. Always have kind of that little bit of filter, make sure you're not doing anything illegal, but you want to kind of factor in some of this entertainment value to your followers because that's where you're going to get the likes. That's where you're going to get the little heart icons and all those other little emoticons that they have that you could click on now on Facebook, or if you're on Twitter, you get the retweets or the little heart love things on Instagram, whatever it is that they call it. You're getting a reaction out of people is really the best way to put it, and that's what you want to shoot for. So you got to be entertaining whenever you're doing any of that stuff and claim that space and then stay known. So continuously and being consistent and you're doing that. Now, open houses. This is another tactical strategy that you hear me tout about all the time. And I believe it's one of the best ways to kind of get your feet wet in the real estate industry. Not only are you getting good experience of talking to people, it's a great and free, only costing you sweat equity basically, method of obtaining new clients and new leads. Not necessarily your clients yet, because you got to earn that business. You got to turn that lead into a client. Once they see you once you've claimed that top space in your mind, that's the only point where you're allowed to call them your client. And if somebody takes that away from you, guess what? You can't call them your client anymore. Somebody else swooped in and stole that top space in their mind. So you got to be known, and then you got to focus on staying known and not letting and defend that territory in their mind that you have, and don't let anybody else creep in there. saying, hey, look, no, I'm the real expert. You need to come talk to me. And if they hear that story long enough, they'll forget about you and they're moving on to this next person. That's the sad truth of this here. Loyalty is something you don't quite find in this information age. So you got to focus on, like I said, staying consistent with all this. Now, a couple other ways you could do this. So let's say you're doing an open house, and I just want to give you a couple quick things here that might seem like they're a little bit off topic, but say you're holding an open house, well, let's talk about all the different ways we could kind of maximize the exposure of that. Because again, ultimately, we're trying to get known. So not only do we want to do the live stream, I mentioned that earlier, we're at the, say, hey, look, I'm at this house here, blah, 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 Main Street, and oh, check this out here. Isn't this the coolest? We'll use the faucet example again, whatever, just pick out these obscure things that shows like you have the attention to detail and all these things that you want to kind of convey with this here. But again, we're conveying, hey, look, you're watching this. Maybe even watch some of these HGTV shows so you can learn how to be entertaining when it comes to real estate. But that's what you got to focus on there, is having that entertainment value so people actually tune in and watch these. The next one we have is boosted posts. So the boosted posts, these are going to be a little bit more straightforward, a little bit more kind of like jab to the throat, like, hey, come to my open house. And you hit them with this over and over and over again, and eventually they might show up at your open house. They might still not show up at your open house, but you hit them continuously over and over and over again. And this is really great for expanding your audience when you're using these sponsored or boosted posts or any sort of digital advertising you may do for that matter, whether it's a sponsored story or a sponsored tweet or a sponsored Instagram post or whatever it is that you're doing here. These are great ways to kind of reach out into a new audience, to expand your audience, but you better make sure you're doing step 1 of getting known and step 2 of staying known effectively. Otherwise, you're just throwing your money away when you're doing any sort of advertising like this. You want to have your signs, do as many signs as your little zoning ordinances will allow, or if you don't want to check the zoning ordinances and just take whatever tickets it is they give you, just put as many signs out there as you want. I see all kinds of legal signs every day, so I'm pretty sure they're not doing too effective of a job, or maybe these tickets are very cheap, or maybe the people that are doing this marketing, they're making so much money they can afford to pay these tickets. But get yourself out there and making sure that the people in that area, in the vicinity of that open house, are getting known about you. And then this one is a great one that a lot of agents hate doing, especially here in Florida when we get into the summertime. That's right, door knocking. When you're out there going heel to toe, banging down the street, banging on doors, saying, hey, my name's John Chrismo. I'm the best realtor there is. Maybe a little bit more creative than that. That's probably not the best way to kind of just walk in there, but that's really the theme that you want to have. You have some sort of more entertaining, because this is where you got to be entertaining as well. Otherwise, you're going to get a door slammed in your face. You might even need to be entertaining just to get them to open the door. Maybe you see them peeping through the windows. They're like, oh, geez, they saw me. Got to open the door now. And that's going to happen where they see you and you're like, and they're like, whoa, all right. I guess I got to talk to this guy. He seems he's a little wound up, but, I'll talk to him. So, but the door knocking is great. But again, you want to have that theme. Exactly what I just said. Hey, I'm John Chrismo. I'm the best realtor in the world. Come see my open house. That's the theme you want to convey, because ultimately you got to keep in mind your theme, that you're trying to claim that space. So whatever it is that you want them to have in your mind, whether it's a pool service or whatever type of business or startup it is that you have, Uber didn't become Uber by basically kind of just hiding out and saying, well, people will find out about us. No, they went out there and they claimed that spot of transportation. Taxis were the first thing people thought about when they thought about transportation, of semi-private type of transportation. And then Uber came in and said, taxis aren't going to hold that spot. We're going to get in there and we're going to take that spot from them. So they went in there and they claimed that spot in people's minds. And now so many people, that's the first thing they think about. And they think of taxi. They still think about taxis, but they think of how much worse riding in a taxi may be. So that you need to do the same thing, basically. You need to kind of show that, hey, look, I'm the best there is. You need to know who I am, because when you're ready to buy or sell and win, that's the key thing. I'm not trying to sell you today, but when you're ready, I'm here for you. I'm going to stay in touch with you, and I'm going to make sure that you have the best experience possible when you're ready to buy or sell your property. And that's the theme you need to convey. You need to be a little bit more creative in the copy and the wording it is that you have that you're giving to them, but that's ultimately what needs to be the underlying kind of moral of the story, so to say. Now, a couple more things in our last few minutes that we have here today. day. You could do mailers, all kinds of mailers. You could send out postcards, letters, newsletters, neighborhood updates, property value updates, whatever it is that you could kind of try to get some attention with. These are all great little ways to continue your follow-up. You could text them occasionally, be like, hey, how you doing? Happy spring, happy Easter, happy New Year's, happy St. Patrick's Day, happy 4th of July, happy Memorial Day. There's so many holidays out there. Take advantage of these things. You shouldn't just be resting on these days off. Make sure you're sending out the text, or even maybe making a phone call to some of them. Maybe it's their birthday. Hey, I know it's your birthday today. What you doing? You got anything fun planned? Happy birthday, blah, 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 all that type of stuff. These are all great ways to kind of command that presence and continue that relationship, so they continue to give you referrals, and when they're ready, you're going to get that repeat business. And that's such an essential aspect of the real estate industry. You guys probably want to have a website as well, but the website alone, and this is where a lot of agents get this confused, the website alone will not make you money. The website alone will not make you money. Number one, because no one's going to go on that website. Just like getting known and having people know your phone number, people just don't automatically know your phone number. And then you might say, John, well, what about Google? Can't they just search for me? Yeah, they could search for you, and they'll probably find you on the 99th page behind Zillow, behind Trulia, behind realtor.com, behind homes.com, behind forsalebyowner.com, behind all these other brands that command a presence on this national scale, and you'll be way down on the list. And no one really ever goes past the first page. Usually people pick the first one or two results on Google. So your idea of, if I have a website, if I build it, they will come. No, you might get some like hackers from Russia that go on there and go spam your form or something like that, but that's not going to really build your presence. And I don't think there's ever going to be a day where a realtor is going to be able to beat out Zillow or Trulia or homes.com or any of these. So don't count on the traffic just coming. It's not. That's not the day and age that we live in. So how do you get people on the website? You market it, whether that's through business cards or your signs. And real quick on the business cards, I know this isn't relating directly with the website here, although it should, because your website should be listed. You got to have business cards. Always have business cards with you, so whenever the opportunity comes up, and the opportunity should come up all the time, because you should always be talking about real estate, you hand out your card and say, oh, yeah, I'm actually in real estate, and go on with the rest about your day. But you need to get in a practice of expanding your audience through that, because that's really effective, and that's really cheap, and it's already capitalizing and maximizing the time it is that you're having. So getting people on your website, advertising is the way to do that, but that's going to cost you money. That's not free. I mean, aside from handing out your business cards here and there, and you can only hand out so many business cards a day, and a lot of those business cards people are just going to throw out or not have anything to do with. That's just impression number one, and we need 7 to 9. But the advertising aspect, whether it's advertising on Facebook or Google pay-per-click or any of these ways that you could spend money to get people to come on your website, make sure it's a good lead capturing website where you're going to be able to generate information and actionable people that you could kind of follow up on. And you don't necessarily need to be salesy and aggressive. You say, hey, look, I know this is a complicated process. I'm here for you. I don't ever make money. I always earn money. And that goes a long way when you kind of have that kind of shift in perspective. I'm not making money off of you. I'm earning money from you. I'm providing you a valuable service. It's worth money. So that's really what you have to capitalize on. And the people going on there, you don't want them just to go on there to kind of have a free-for-all and you never do anything and you're just a website is the public service. No, the goal of that website is to capture leads, to capture information. So you definitely want to have that, but remember, there's not going to be any visitors. There's not going to be traffic going on there by themselves. You have to pay for that, and especially if you're paying for that, you need to make sure you have these 3 steps down of getting known, staying known, and expanding your audience, because if you don't have those 3 down, you better not be investing money yet, because you're probably going to be throwing your money away. You invest your time and your effort and your energy until you've maximized those 3 areas, and then you could start spending some money. But as soon as you start to rest on your laurels, that's where you're gonna be like, hey, look, I gotta make sure that I'm revamping this and I'm staying to continue to do the 3 actions of getting known, staying known, and expanding your audience. Last one I've talked about here, every time you get a listing, the listings are the biggest way to kind of generate business and really grow and scale your business. If you focus on obtaining listings, which is a very competitive market, don't get me wrong, but when you could grab one of these listings, and part of grabbing that listing is first grabbing that real estate professional space in their mind and commanding and defending that space in your client's mind. And again, you can only call them your client once you have that space and you're defending that space, that territory in their mind as the real estate professional. But having these listings are a great way to again, going back to the friends and family stuff and marketing on social media, you put a post up and says, hey, check this out, check out this property I have listed. Now you're not just borrowing some property, you're just going out touring properties and touring listings and doing live streams or whatever, although that's a great way to do this as well, but it's actually your product now, and you're going to get a commission even if it's another agent that's actually ending up selling your property for you. So the listings are another great tool. You want to try to command as many listings as you can, because you could go out there now advertising those. It's going to make you look great for your client, and it's also going to make you look great and help grow your business, because you're going to look great to all of your potential audience and all the people it is that you continuously market to. Make sure you check out your the marketing listings state of real estate. We did that one a couple of weeks back, which has got a lot of tactical strategies you could use to market your real estate listings. But that's all I got for you guys today. I know I started getting a little fast with this stuff here at the end, but I was getting real excited about some of this stuff it is that we're talking about, some of these ways to get out there. And that's what I love about real estate. I love the real estate industry because you can be so creative with the marketing. There's so many ways to market this, and I love finding and seeing new ways that work, that are effective at getting people to maximize these 3 steps. And like I said, it doesn't matter what part of your business you're in, whether you're just starting off or whether you're the top realtor in the country, you need to do 3 things. Number 1, get known. Number 2, stay known. And number 3, expand your audience every single day. You need to be consistent doing those things, and it's just those 3 steps. There's a lot of ways and a lot of sub-steps basically to all those 3 steps, but it boils down to those 3 things. Number 1, get known. Number 2, stay known. Number 3, expand your audience. So I've got for you guys today on this week's episode of State of Real Estate. Make sure you tune in next week at 12 noon Eastern Time. We'll be here again, giving you more information, helping you grow and mastermind and expand your real estate business. Until then, I'll see you.